Hey, what's up, Choom Gang? My name's Sophia, and I'll be hosting today's session. Welcome to our Learning and Burning series, where we invite cannabis experts in the industry to help answer our questions and teach us all about our favorite plant, one topic at a time. And as you probably guessed by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about concentrates. There are so many different options out in the market now, and it seems like the list just kind of keeps on growing. And I find that it can be pretty intimidating to new and even experienced consumers. It's like to even like know what the difference is between them and how to actually use them. So, to help us with this topic, we have invited a very special guest, guys. So please help me welcome the co-founder and CEO of Big Concentrates Co., Mr. Scott Walters.
Hi, Sophia. Thanks
Hi,
for having me.
Scott. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here.
Fantastic.
I'm so excited. So Scott, first things first, welcome to the Tune Gang, and just please tell the gang a little bit about yourself and what your role is over at Big.
Sure. Thank you again. My name's Scott Walters. I'm the co-founder and CEO of the Big Concentrates Company. We're a company that we put together in late 2020, and we came out of the cannabis space. We've been involved in the legal cannabis space and the legacy market for several years, our team. My other co-founders are John Fowler, who previously was the founder and CEO of 7 Acres and Supreme Cannabis. And my other co-founder is Mike Hasho and Posimato, who is the a co-founder of High Variety and also works with Ghost Drops and is integral to our operation here at Big Concentrates. We've learned a lot from Mike and continue to.
Amazing. And so I'm always curious about this, but what brought you into cannabis in the first place?
Sure, an accident, as a matter of fact. So I got hurt in a go-karting accident almost a decade ago,
Oh my
and
God.
as a result, needed pain relief, and I found my way through the usual medical system, working with fantastic doctors, but the wrong drugs for me, and didn't do so well with opiates. So I got those out of my system and turned to medical cannabis at the suggestion of a friend, which worked tremendously well and still does to this day. So with that, we opened. I talked to the 2 doctors I was working with, Dr. Schechter and Dr. Nashim in Toronto, and we decided to open a clinic together. So we opened we opened the Cannabinoid Medical Clinic at Yonge and Eglinton, which was free for patients. We did very well. We never charged patients for anything. We charged the drug companies like Canopy and Bedrocan and Metrum at the time. Long story short, that got me into the cannabis space. That clinic did really well. It ended up having 25 clinics across Canada, and that little clinic grew to help 80,000 patients nationally. And
Wow.
and then from that, I was kind of in the thick of it and started working on product development. I was doing some work in the U.S., working with clinics there. I had an outdoor farming business there. I had an extraction business there, and then came back to Canada. I launched a lab business, which is still doing well today. Today it's called Steep Hill. It used to be called Molecular Science Corp, and it still operates out of Toronto. It's a GMP lab. And then John brought me into Supreme Cannabis a few years after that, and I joined his board of directors and was vice president of business development, and that was a fantastic experience. And we left about the same time, and we created Blaze Ventures, which is where our holding company, and out of that, with Mike, we created the Big Concentrates Company, which today is one of the top-selling solventless concentrates in Canada, as well as one of the top-selling hydrocarbons. So we sell live resin and diamonds, and we'll be introducing shatter later this year as well, which is very exciting.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Wow, you had quite a journey.
it's been a great journey, and
Yeah. And it's still going.
it's still going,
Yeah.
and I'm blessed. I work with family and friends. You know, my son, who's 20, works with me every day and has been helping us build the business. And it's been an absolutely fantastic experience. And with legalization and the introduction of retail distribution, working with fantastic groups like yourselves that have the same passion for the plant and a lot of legacy experience, and really understand what people want in the plant and in the different products that are available. It's every day's fun. I don't really think of it as work.
I love that. I love that. I mean, that's a dream, right?
Yes, it really is a dream. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. So, guys, before we started, Scott was telling us about his hoodie. And Scott,
Oh,
please, like, yeah, tell the Choom Gang what you told me about your hoodie.
sure. So we don't know how to sell clothes, and people always ask us for merch. And we've done really well heretofore with no merch, no marketing. We don't have a sales force or a sales team. It's me and Mike and my son Max. We don't do any in-store advertising and no data deals or anything. So we finally decided to do some merch because we had a lot of people bugging us about it, but we didn't want to do the usual, like, here it is and just buy it and no one really cares about it. So near and dear to our hearts is our people suffering with MS, family and friends. So we want to do something really special. So my business partner John Fowler, who co-founded Big with, we donated the clothes. We had them made. Fantastic company, LS Legendary, do great work. Long story short, people can get the hoodies. They're special edition, very limited. You make a donation yourself to the MS Society. You send me a screenshot or a photo of the email that you get from the MS Society for $100. You get the tax receipt. You know the money went to a great cause, and I'll go to the post office myself and mail you a hoodie.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I
So
love that you guys are doing that. Like
and
that, amazing.
and so we hope to raise a few $1,000s for MS doing that. It's been a great response so far with the T-shirts, the hoodies, and the hats. And then we'll do something regular down the road. But truthfully, it's a family-owned business. It's not public money, so we put our money into the product, into good quality equipment, and this is our small way of starting on the merchandising. But
I
it's a
love
great
that.
cause.
And so, where can they send that to?
Just send me an email, me or Mike or John. And we'll get them out as fast as we can.
Awesome. I love that, guys. If you guys want to support that, please do it. I think that is just, yeah, I love that.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, I guess let's get into Big. I want to know what Big specializes. Like, what are the kind of products that you're doing? I know that you kind of touched on it a little bit.
You bet. So BIG stands for Blaze Independent Growers. So Blaze is actually the name of John's dog. It's a husky. We couldn't really figure out a good name, so the dog was a good start.
I
Um,
love it.
so Big started off as a solventless concentrate company, and that's still our core value is building, producing fantastic solventless concentrates by hand, and we're doing that today. So Big Concentrates uses fresh frozen flower from small micro cultivators as well as small enterprise organizations. We don't generally buy from large growers, buy from Safari, we buy from Fowler Farms, buy from Hog Wild Farming, which is a great partner of ours up in Creemore, Ontario. We buy fresh frozen cannabis, and then we use ice and water to create bubble hash, and from the bubble hash we'll make a live rosin, which is a dabbable product. We also take that same fresh frozen and using a hydrocarbon process with butane, make a live resin or diamonds, and that's in the resin category. And all three of those products have done tremendously well for us in the last year. We've really enjoyed communicating with our customers and making minor modifications and really tweaking the products based on the feedback. And we'll continue to do that. So we're really just a concentrates company. We don't sell flour. We've never sold pre-rolls. That's going to change, and I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Cool.
But here to date, we've sold beautiful glass jars full of fantastic rosin, resin, and diamonds, and people have been dabbing those or putting them in their bongs or putting them in their joints, and we'll continue to produce that. We don't want to try and be good at everything and boil the ocean. We're really laser focused on developing a great reputation around the tastiest and best experience in concentrates, and that's what we work towards every day.
Yeah, that's really smart. I love that. Just Yeah, really focused.
Yeah.
And for people that don't really know that what solventless extracts
Mhm.
are, like in my understanding, and like correct me if I'm wrong or whatever. So solvent based, so if we're talking solvent based, it's usually what uses chemical solvents like CO2 or butane or like ethanol to separate compounds like
Yes.
the cannabinoids or the terpenes, right? So that's, a lot of the time, shatters or wax will be done that way.
Yes.
But what is solventless?
Yeah, so solventless is taking fresh frozen cannabis and introducing it to a vessel. In our case, we use a bruteless or an osprey, which is basically, think of it as a 65-gallon pail, which we then introduce commercial grade ice and purified water, along with about 12 kilos of cannabis. We'll then agitate that by hand. So without any solvents, just through really, really cold water and cold ice and frozen cannabis, the trichomes will break off. So we're mechanically separating the trichomes from the bud and taking the trichomes through the water and then collecting them through a series of nested filter bags of varying micron hole sizes. And we're looking for, in food terms, we're looking for the ripest fruit. So we're looking for the best developed heads. They're going to provide the best flavor and the best experience. And that's utilized, and we do that just using ice and water and hand separation. We'll then freeze dry it, and that creates a bubble hash. So that's solventless. With a hydrocarbon extraction, you would introduce. I'm going to use. I'll use this. You would introduce. You'd have a big column, a steel column. You'd introduce about 50 kilograms of fresh frozen material. If you were us, you would then flood that with your hydrocarbon. And that would basically, using a solvent action, would basically drop the trichomes off the bud, just in a simplistic terms. So we do make those products. They each have their own, they each have their own category. For solventless, it's seen as sort of the highest echelon of cannabis consumption in a dabbable form, and it is a lot of art involved. A lot of it is done by hand. And we've learned and continue to learn from fantastic artisans like Mike. And with hydrocarbons, it's really more of a chemical industrial process for a great deal of it, and it involves a lot of high pressure, a lot of expensive equipment, and a lot of solvents. And it produces an incredibly pure product that generally has a higher potency, but might have a lower terpenes. And for us, we really chase flavor as opposed to chasing potency. But we're not all of our consumers, and a lot of our consumers really appreciate the hit they get from the diamonds, and they appreciate the hit and the flavor they get from our live resin. And I think we're differentiated from a lot of our friends in the market that are also selling the same products, because we're using the same high quality fresh frozen cannabis in all of our products. We don't do a trash to cash model. We're not taking old product out of someone's inventory or vault and introducing that into a manufacturing process. I go and select the material, or Mike selects it. We help with the harvest. We do the freezing, and we take it from there. And that's why I think we're a little different. And that's the difference between solvent and solventless.
Ah, and so how do you like, what's your process for selecting your flower? Like, how do you choose? How do you decide
Great,
on that?
great question. What we look for is we talking to consumers and talking amongst ourselves and looking at trends in the market. We want to figure on what's a good flavor profile that's going to give us the ability to produce a really beautiful flavor that we can scale. Pardon me. That's a weed cough. It's not. Um, uh, we're looking for really high quality flower that's been grown with great care. We're looking for good head development. So, prior to the harvest, we'll usually introduce ourselves to the harvest, and using a loop, like a small magnifier, look for the growth and look for head development. And we're looking for low contamination and good growing qualities. And specific strains have different qualities. For example, the black cherry punch that we've used in our big fruit, it has a very robust fruity flavor. It has heads that do very well in a full spectrum I won't get too complicated, but that creates a fruity flavor. And then a GMO, which we're working with today from Maple Ridge, produces this really beautiful kind of gassy cheese flavor, which is
Yeah, that really stinky.
oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you know you're smoking GMO. And
Amazing.
again, not all flower works well for solventless extraction. It's generally like land race strains don't generally do too well, but like indica leaning hybrids do really well without getting into big strain, like a list of strain names. With hydrocarbons, we have a lot more flexibility on how we're extracting the resin. So we can use a wider variety of plants. We can go straight into like sativa focused chemistry, which wouldn't work so well in a solventless extraction, but does really well in a hydrocarbon extraction.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, it depends, and it also depends what you're looking for in the end. It's really about for us for flavor, I guess.
Yeah.
The
And
plant's gonna
honestly, that's key. Like that's like like when you open up a jar of one of those and you can really smell that, you get that the saliva starts. You start to get that, that like drool when you smell it because it
I
just
love your
has that.
drooling.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
good
that
sign.
whole like you just get punched in the face basically by it.
And that's what we're looking for when your customer opens one of our pouches. We use the same pouch and the same jar for all of our products. One, it saves a lot of space. Two, saves us a ton of money because all those different, if you've got to keep all that inventory, it ties up a lot of capital and it ties up a lot of secure storage. So when you tear that mylar, it's a resealable pouch. You tear it open, and the first thing that hits you, like you said, in the face is that flavor. And it really sets the groundwork for what kind of experience the consumer is going to look forward to. So if the first thing that happens is they start drooling and they get excited, wow, that really sets the table for a great experience. And that's really what we strive for. That's the introduction to our product. And then you open the jar, you get a beautifully formed, hand-formed coin. They're all done by hand. And you take your P1 and your P2 dab, and you're off to the races. And we've had great feedback. And where we haven't had good feedback, we've adjusted our course, specifically on packaging. I made a horrific mistake when we launched a year ago, and in December 2020. I used parchment paper for our first two drops because glass jars were quite frankly too expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
We literally couldn't afford it. Big mistake. Never using parchment paper again. The
And
feedback
what was the reason for that?
the 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 terpene like the flavor was so strong, which is basically held in the terpene content,
Yeah.
that it acted like a solvent and kind of ate away at the parchment paper. So it didn't create any negative side effects. There was no danger to the consumer, but it wasn't a good experience when you're trying to scrape.
Yeah,
You're trying to scrape rosin that you've paid your hard-earned money for off a piece of parchment paper.
totally.
So we figured out a way to be able to afford glass jars, and we use these beautiful glass jars, and that's what we've been doing ever since. And it's a great experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I know we've kind of been touching on everything. So, like how can consumers approach these products? Like how should they use them, or what's the approach here?
Sure. There's two approaches to using our products in a dabbing sense. You can use an electronic dabbing device like your Shatterizer pen, which is really inexpensive. I think
Or
they're
like a Yokan pen.
Yeah, Yokan, a G pen, those work really well. Or you can get into a Puffco. Those are quite expensive. Those are $300 to $500. We have one at home. They're fantastic. I'm a bit of a traditionalist, so I like to use what's called a glass rig and a banger. It looks like a glass bong. It's about a foot tall. It has what's called a banger in it, and that's where you heat that up with a torch, and then using a dab tool, you dab off that, very similar to a bong. But I think for introducing consumers to our product, specifically in the hydrocarbons, which is generally where most consumers start, they'll approach diamonds or resin. I'd recommend going with a Shatterizer pen or a Yokan or a G pen. It's less involved. It's
Yeah,
less,
a little simple, you push some buttons and, it heats up for you, does all the major, heavy lifting.
no flamethrowers. People think
Yeah.
they're making creme
Some
brulee,
people are very intimidated, so,
as they should be. Those are dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah, pens are great, and our diamonds and rosin and resin can also be consumed traditionally. So occasionally I'll take some diamonds and I'll sprinkle those into a joint. I'll do the same thing with resin, and that's basically like a turbo boost at the beginning of your joint, and then it kind of settles into the steady flight mode. But I like that. And then with rosin, you can make a small thin snake and put that in the middle of a joint, and that creates a beautiful experience.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be a heavy hitter for
It is.
sure.
Yeah, it
Really
definitely.
elevates that experience.
It is. It does. Yeah.
And so, I know that you gave us a little, like, Easter egg, but, like, what's next for Big? Like, is there
Sure.
anything that we need to keep an eye out
Oh
for?
yes, I'm very excited. We have two really exciting products that we're going to be introducing this quarter or next quarter. So for the May release, we're going to be putting out a fantastic shatter, which is a tremendously popular product in Canada. Has been for many years. It's a really reasonable way for consumers to get into trying concentrates and trying dabbing for the first time. It's also a very powerful experience. So we're going to be introducing our shatter. It's going to be coming in around $34 a gram, and that'll be in the same fantastic packaging that we've been using heretofore. We've also done something a little different. So I know that we said we've never done anything in flower, never released a flower product, but if you're familiar with the Loud Plug and Benny Blunto, they're very good friends of ours, and our commercialization company that we own does a lot of work with Benny Blunto and helps commercialize their products all across Canada. So we're doing a collab with them whereby we're going to be releasing in May a 1 gram blunt that's 40% bubble hash from our black cherry punch that my son and I washed, and 60% is going to be I think it's Pink Cookies flour, and it's a fantastic combination. We've been making them and trying them. We have a research license, so we try every product before it gets released, and we try everything before it gets released, so we know it's going to be good. So look for those two. That's going to be coming to market around the $20 mark. It'll be released in our big bags, and that's going to be a general listing as well. So that'll be in Ontario, BC, and Alberta in May, and then across the rest of Canada throughout the year, as our shatter will. We're in 6 provinces right now, which is a very proud thing to say, from coast to coast. We're going to be adding more. We're going to be adding Saskatchewan as well. So those are the 2 new products that we're coming out with.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Tune gang, keep an eye out for those.
yeah,
I like, having that kind of mixed, concentrate with the dried flower, even a blunt, like it's hard to find. There aren't very many out in the market. So that
yeah.
is really exciting.
It's been a really good category. Like, it's the feedback that we've gotten from the provinces is they asked, can you do, a concentrate infused product, like a pre-roll, and we looked at it, and we looked at doing it in paper. We weren't happy with it, and then we settled on the Benny Blunto wraps, which is as close to you can get to like a backwoods without any tobacco. It's made from tea leaves. It's a
Tea
beautiful,
leaves.
yeah. Yeah,
Amazing.
they're made from crushed tea leaves that they make into rolls, and then they roll. It's a Futurola product. So we're very excited about that, and look for those in May. And anyone near Toronto, if they want to come by and see how those are made and meet the team, they're all handmade. There's 60 people that make them,
Wow.
and they make a million pre-rolls a month out of there.
Oh my gosh.
By hand. So it's a busy place in Scarborough. But
Wow. I could not have that job. I can't roll to save my life.
well, you'd learn fast. That's
That's
for
true. That's true. Maybe I need to go. They need to teach me a thing or two.
sure. But
Awesome.
yeah, so look for those, we might do some edibles. We were looking at doing infused gummies, but we decided just to stick to our core alignment, which is an inhalable product, and using our bubble hash there, and I think that'll really bookend our product line from from your $20 entry point up to your live rosin. So very excited about that.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Choom Gang, I have a new segment for you. We're going to do some Choom rapid fire questions, and Scott has agreed to be a good sport and answer these questions. So it's just a bunch of questions. Some of them are going to be cannabis related, some of them are going to be more personal. But you ready for me, Scott?
Hit me.
All right. First question. How old were you when you first smoked weed?
15.
15. Do you have a favorite strain right now?
GMO.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What's your favorite munchie?
Popcorn.
Mm. What's something you learned about cannabis that blew your mind?
Um, the medicinal, I think growing up, I didn't really understand how it could be used as a medicine without like knocking someone out, like being high all the time. So I use that's changed my life from being addicted to opiates to being able to balance CBD and THC for pain management. That was a huge eye opener 9 years ago, and yeah.
Great answer. What's your favorite method of consumption?
Dabbing.
Dabbing, a little dabble do you, as Len Dog says. What song is on your repeat list?
Right now, Whiter Shade of Pale, Procol Harum, the
Oh,
great song. Listen to the 2006 version with the Dutch orchestra live. It's a mind blower.
I'm
Uh,
gonna have to check that one
yeah.
out. What's your go-to show right now?
My go-to.
Show.
Oh, don't watch a lot of TV. Probably, I watch those crazy cooking contests with my wife.
Oh
I,
yeah, those are
I find
always so good.
it hilarious. Yeah.
Uh,
After a couple dabs,
yeah,
then
of course. And then you see the food and you're like, all right, we need to
oh
get some munchies here.
yeah,
What's your favorite go-to pastime or hobby?
yeah. Pastime or hobby. I used to be climbing, like kind of rock climbing.
Yeah.
Now I'd say it's probably hiking. Uh, I mean, I haven't had a lot of right. Last 2 years has been tough for hobby.
Yeah, you've been going at it pretty hard, haven't you?
Making hash and hiking, I guess.
Amazing. What was your favorite subject in school?
Math.
Math.
Yeah.
What animal would you be in another life?
Sloth.
Oh, me too. If you could have an unlimited supply of one thing, what would it be?
Coffee.
Coffee. Love it. And that is the end of our rapid fire questions. So, guys, that is all the time that we have today. Scott, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here with us and helping us with this topic.
You're very welcome, and thank you for the opportunity, and I really appreciate the support from the Choom team. And if anyone ever has any questions or any customer has any questions, I try to be the most reachable CEO in the industry. I'm in there with my son making it. We're out there selling it. We're selecting it, and I try to talk to at least 6 customers a day on Instagram or just a quick video call or whatnot. So if anyone ever has any questions, just hit me up. I've got a great relationship with Len. I've had some great conversations. Your stores have been fantastic, and anything that we can do to help your experience better or to help you understand or help move our product, I'm all ears and I'm here to help.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much, Scott. And
Thank you.
Choom Gang, thank you so much for watching this learning and burning episode. Until the next one, guys. See ya.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Sophia. Bye.